Man, I was watching the video of the police officers beating the crap out of this dude in the county jail. And what's crazy is when I came home from prison, you know, George Floyd lost his life, right? And this triggered outrage across the United States of America. And watching George Floyd get killed was emotionally provoking for a lot of people. But it happens every single day inside of our incarceral networks throughout the United States. So, carceral, I don't even know if that's a word. So that happens every fucking day in the United States of America for those of us that are currently incarcerated. There's over 2 million of us within the county jails, the prison systems. That's the federal prison system, and every state has its own prison system, and every city has jails. And if they don't have a jail, they're within a county, a parish, or a territory that has a facility, which is going to be like a regional jail. For instance, I'm from Riverside County. We have 5 county jails, which are in not in our cities. So, for instance, I'm from Paris. I get arrested, I would have to go to Riverside's jail, which is downtown. And there's 2 jails in one. They have an old jail, which is like being underground. You go through a tunnel to get there. Then they have the Tower Jail, which was pretty lit because I was there prior to them frosting over the windows. We have Southwest County Jail, which is in a really nice area. They call it the French Valley of not Menifee, but the other little city, Marietta, next to Temecula. And we have a jail in Banning. Ooh, it used to be a cool jail. It used to be like a camp. People like to go there because they had a little more freedom. Now they have a high security jail in Banning. They have Indios County Jail, and they have Blythe County Jail. Yeah, Riverside's pretty big. And our county jails are pretty treacherous. I think they rival LA County. LA County is the treacherous jail. I don't know if anyone's really competing with them. Maybe Rikers Island, maybe in Chicago, but Riverside County Jail is one of the most treacherous places you can be. You have the Southern Hispanics, you have the whites, you have others that are under the blacks, because those are the 3 dominant groups. You don't have a dominant other group. They usually fall under the blacks. That may have changed. I haven't been there in I haven't been there in it's been a couple of years. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, back to my story. We see George Floyd. George Floyd gets choked out and dies. We see a new video that just brings it back to light of people incarcerated getting attacked and beat up by correctional officers of this young man. I'm not going to say his name out of respect. I'm not going to show clips of his video. I will put the link down in the description. So if you want to see it, that's your choice. But what they did to this young man was they went in his cell, they punched him, drug him out of the cell, beat him down, threw him back in the cell, slammed him. Man, fuck those officers. I don't give a fuck. I was in there. I don't give a fuck. They didn't kill me when I was in there. They talked all that shit. They didn't kill me. Thank God. Not that they couldn't have killed me, but they didn't. Thank God. God has plans. There's a reason for everything. So whatever happens to me, and to anybody, God's will be done, not ours. That's where I stand, 100%. So it's messed up because prior to me coming home, oh my God. So the correctional officers rushed one person who's having a psychiatric event on the housing unit I'm in at Wasco State Prison. And we have a lady correctional officer, and we have, they were majority Hispanic. And what happens in prison system is that when you get a dominant racial ethnicity running a prison, or if you just get high in numbers, they'll separate from the other guards and they'll hang out and socialize. And then I've seen it to where the blacks will work one side of the chow hall and the Mexicans will work the other side. The Mexicans and whites, they usually network together. And that was in Lancaster. But back to Wasco, predominantly Hispanic. They run in the building to an incident. A guy freaks out, throws milk on the people sitting at the table with him. And I'm in my cell. So in Wasco reception, lockdown. There's not much program. You don't get much yard. You don't get to come out. The reason I'm there, I just went back to get resentenced from 25 years to life, and I was resentenced to 9 years time served. I've served 16 years straight at this point, 100%, all of it, no credit, nothing. So I do 16 years, get resentenced to 9 years, get the life sentence off of my shoulders, come back, slammed down in reception for 2 weeks. My celly got 190 years. Crazy Crip brother out of Bakersfield. Cool as a mug. Support that dude. He didn't even kill anybody. He got 3 strikes and got all those years. But anyway, when we eat in the day room. And the day room is right in front of the cells. They have tables. So we come back, we eat. Nobody's happy here, but we hear a commotion, you know, and they're like, get down, get down. So we go to the door. It's an individual white guy, kind of chunky. He sat down at the table, and for one reason or another, he didn't want to be there. So he targeted the people at his table, and he was spitting milk on them. So he was, and the milk would just get on the dudes, and they were like, oh shit. And you know, it's early in the morning. People are like running away from this dude. No one's really trying to fight him because no one's been hit with that move before where someone just with a milk. That was the first time I had seen that. And mind you, I had been down 16 years already. And prior to that, I was hanging out in the streets. So I've seen a lot. And that was when I hadn't saw. Picked up the tray, started throwing it at people. So the COs were like, they rush him. And what happens was, first it was a young Hispanic officer. He runs up. The dude swings at him. Misses him. Ooh, he shouldn't have swung at him because it was all bad. The officer at that point pulls out his baton. Bam! A lady runs up. She might have been his girlfriend or his wife. I don't know what she was to him, a relative. But she ran up with the mentality that she was a gang member. And they all turned. They have the gang member mentality already. But your correctional officer's gang mentality is worse than the incarcerated's gang mentality. I had never seen the Southern Hispanics hurt somebody and torture somebody as much as these guys. They are very respectful. And if they stab somebody, it's all business. And they get it out the way. They don't sit there and demonically torture you. Woods, same thing. Get it out the way. They don't demonically torture you. They might kill you, but you getting killed by your people is far humane compared to when the devils in uniforms kill you. When they kill you, they will shackle you. They will beat you. They will break your jaw. They will knock your teeth out. That's part of their mission and their plan. And they enjoy this. And they go home every night. And those are the guys who are celebrated in our community. And that is a scary thing when the devils are in a position of power. I once heard a quote when I was in the county jail. This young man told me, the thing I fear the most is getting beat up by these police officers because you get a sense of, matter of fact, it wasn't a quote I heard. It was a quote that I read. Somebody said from one of my readings, I've read probably over 100 books, probably more, a couple of hundred, but I read that, can't identify it. I was young when I read it, under 19. But the quote was, who is going to save you when it's the police beating your ass? Who can you call? Matter of fact, it might have been an individual I ran across who shared that with me. And nobody. You can't call nobody. Because when they're beating your ass, they are the authority. No one's going to stop them. So going back to Wasco, the lady runs up. She pulls out her baton. Bam! She whacks the dude. He falls down. She starts kicking him. Bam! She's kicking him in the stomach. Bam! Kicking him in the face. You bitch ass motherfucking cuff up. The dude has his baton. Now he was backed up when the dude swung at him. Now he's hitting him because the lady's the one who actually took him out. So it was a little lady. Mind you, there's about 20 correctional officers in the building. Only 2 rushed this guy. The other 18 stand at the front. So I don't know if these officers were earning their bones, earning their stripes. They have a gang going on, and they were like, it's your turn to handle the business. If something happens, it's on you guys. Either way, they were putting in the work. They get the guy cuffed up. And when he's cuffed up, I thought, okay, they're going to stop beating him. You know, they got him down, cuffed him. No. The lady's like kicking him in the face, kicking him in the stomach, kicking him in the face, kicking him in the stomach, kicking him in the face, kicking him in the stomach. This guy's still conscious. I don't know why, but God was in spirit was in this guy, keeping him alive. You know, the human spirit is hella resilient. And then the guy, he's not as brutal as the lady, but he's still punching the dude. So he punches him, punching him. The lady's being brutal. So now the guy backs up, lady's still hitting him. She pulls out her baton. Bam, she's whacking him in the back. Bam. And they're like, all right, get your bitch ass up. The whole time, she is talking bad to him. You bitch ass motherfucker, you want to hit my partner? They pick him up. Bam. They get both arms. They drag him. So now, I don't see if he's bloody. He is sprayed up, mind you. At some point, they pepper sprayed him. But they drag him. The other officers line up. It was a routine. It was not like spur of the moment. These dudes knew what they were doing. Very organized. Like, have you ever seen at the Olympics, the swimmers, how they swim and they're all like in sync? These correctional officers line up. They drag the man through. First officer, uppercuts him. Next officer has a stick in his mouth. They're trying to knock him unconscious so that he can't testify or see what they're about to do. This is no bullshit. I went to jail because somebody had that same line of thinking that they can knock somebody unconscious so they wouldn't tell on them. And then these correctional officers have that same mentality, which is faulty. So they're hitting them, uppercutting them, bringing them through the line. They also are trying to knock his teeth out, but they're not doing it. He seems to be conscious. They get him in the rotunda, bam, he disappears from my view. So at this point, I don't know what's going to happen to him. He had been getting beat for about 5 minutes and then drug through that line, punched. And it was horrific. Man was in handcuffs, defenseless, and you got 20 correctional officers being a devil. You know, you imagine hell where you go down and they got pitchforks stabbing you. That's what was going on to this young man. So I asked the dudes in the building later. I don't even think I asked them. They were just talking about it. They were like, damn, when they took him outside, because you could hear through the doors when people were talking, they could see through their windows. They can see the roadway going to medical. They threw him on the ground. This is what they said. And it was raining. So they threw him on the ground in the dirt and they jumped on him and started beating his ass. That's what a dude in the cell said. They said they were taking him to medical, threw him into the dirt, and just rat packed him, punched him on the dirt. And this was after the torture he had already been through. So I could imagine when you get to medical, you get no attention. You get thrown in a cage. Throw you in a cage, cuffed up. They take your clothes. He might have been in his boxers if he wasn't naked. Severely injured, probably was in a coma or going into a coma. And that's the people that we pay to protect us and keep us safe. And there's some straight up devils. So I'll have more stories for you, but that was a brutal one because I was thinking about this individual in the county jail, and I've seen more than that. That was just the latest I've seen, and that was January of 2020 that went down. So, and that was before George Floyd. But seeing this individual beaten in the county jail reminds me of this one. The guy who got beat in this case wasn't as bad, but it could have been as bad because it's that same mentality that the sheriffs have, police have, law enforcement have. And that's a devil. That's the devil. The devil's in power. So these dudes, they're going to go. They're not hard. Killing you is not hard. Being able to beat you up is not hard. That's the weakest thing you could do. The hardest thing you could do is be really nice, be respectful, and smile and say, I love you. I love you is the hardest thing you could do as a man. Because no one's doing that. Your anger and your aggression and your fuel says, I'm going to destroy you. Like, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to choke you out. But a man will sit back and be like, I love you, brother. I love you, human being. You're my fellow human being. So I'll share some more. That was just my perspective on what I just seen in this county jail. Very bad. But I just want you to know, as a public, this is going on today. This is going on today, and it's hidden. Because when you're inside of their walls, you have a restricted amount of communication, and they're just running the narrative. But we're going to share these stories, and hopefully we'll get some of this out there. And, you know, I want to see what your questions are. I'm not going to just go ahead and assume what you're going to ask me and then respond here. I will let you ask questions, and then maybe I'll make a response video to that, getting your questions. But thank you. Have a good day.